Is it possible to chop 5 vegetables in 10 seconds? Can you slice garlic into millimeter slices without opening your eyes? What's the square of the world's largest pizza? Today I'll give you the answers to all these questions and more. And in this episode I'll show you the fastest and most genius chefs in the world who are definitely worth seeing.
Go, get out!
According to most modern chefs, such a knife would be more suitable for slicing meat or fish. But look how easily this chef handles a giant potato. Do you think he just chopped it finely? He didn't. At the end of the video, you can see that the potatoes have turned into a translucent open work garland. However, half the potato had to be cut off and thrown away at the beginning. I guess it's the price of art. Few people like to slice onion, and for a large feast, it's often necessary to peel and slice several onions at once. How to do it faster? Here's a little life hack for you, if you have enough skills to do it. Anyway, this chef slices onions so quickly and evenly that there's no need for such a multi-story structure. How do you cut green peppers? Most people will tell you that you first cut off the top and properly clean the inside of the pepper. Sometimes this process takes a long time, especially if you cut the tops off sloppily. But how about this way? It looks very quick and skillful. But let's not forget that it's a professional chef doing the slicing. Something tells me that an untrained person will end up with shapeless scraps instead of even slices. And what about chopping without looking? Yes, this chef doesn't even look at what he's doing, and yet perfectly even slices come out from under his knife. And if onions are probably easier to chop, how does he do it with meat? It's time for the fairer sex. This time it's cabbage that has to be skillfully chopped. Yes, they show us the video on fast forward, but in real time the whole process took hardly more than a minute. A difficult and desperately disliked by many people process is the fish processing. It's a pity they didn't show it to the end. Anyone can make incisions on the sides of fish, but not everyone is able to clean it from the scales. And a little more pepper slicing. This time the chef doesn't care about removing the seeds, but that's not necessary when slicing hot peppers. Anyway, the chef manages to slice several pods at a time in one fell swoop. A great life hack for those who first cut the potatoes into several strips and then try to hold the sprawling bundle in one hand. It turns out that if you don't cut the potato all the way through, then the dicing will be much easier. In the hands of these chefs, though, any slicing doesn't look difficult. Can the world's most skilled chefs handle a huge bunch of vegetables? Yes. Look at how skillfully the guy slices this green mountain. I think people from northern latitudes won't immediately realize what's in front of them. Cacti? Huge flat cucumbers? If you know what they are, tell me in the comment section down below. Garlic slicing is another process on the list of disliked ones.
Garlic!
Sometimes it seems that even if you crush the garlic and sharpen a knife, slicing garlic into small pieces will still be an impossible task. But not for the chefs in this episode. For those who don't believe you can achieve the ultimate art in garlic slicing, here's another blind performance. Have you ever been able to evenly slice a tomato into small cubes? Sometimes it feels like the recipe makers are mocking us. Unlike potatoes or carrots, this vegetable simply refuses to obey strict geometry. Another unknown product in this episode, however, the chef's technique does not become any less impressive. By the way, if there are any connoisseurs of the Asian cuisine watching me, I ask for your help. Tell me in the comments a few more skillful slices. The general tendency to fold in even slices and slice as thinly as possible becomes clear. It sounds simple, but can you do it in your kitchen? It's said that small pieces of meat, especially hearts and other organs, are almost impossible to slice beautifully. European chefs prefer to cook them whole. Asian chefs, on the other hand, are able to turn them into the thinnest even slices. This chef is clearly the king of today's episode, a real talent whose limited abilities do not prevent him from handling even those vegetables that require pre-processing and peeling. Moreover, he holds the knife backwards. Can a cabbage leaf be sliced lengthwise even thinner? Yes, if you're a professional chef. It's hard to imagine what practical use such slicing might have, but it looks very pretty. And here's a life hack for those who have vegetables that always stick to the knife when they're cut. This is especially common with potatoes, but one rubber band will solve the problem. This kind of lettuce slicing is not difficult to master. Every one of us has done something like this at least once in the kitchen, but it looks impressive anyway. And again, we got the fish. This does not solve the problem of scaling, but it's clear how to quickly cut the carcass into beautiful steaks with a knife. Another way of slicing a tomato. It looks easy enough. All you have to do is learn how to hold the tip correctly when at the end of slicing the tomato is about to slip out of your hands and splatter all over the cutting board. All these chefs can be described as record-breakingly fast in terms of slicing food. But what about other records from the culinary world? It's an interesting topic, so I decided to touch on that as well. Stay tuned, and soon you'll see the coolest record-breaker chefs in the world, as well as learn about the dishes that broke all the records. The longest pasta. Of course, I couldn't do without the brilliant Gordon Ramsay in this episode.
Listen, 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 listen. Go, get out!
This time, the legendary chef tried to set a world record in a very original discipline, cooking the longest sheet of pasta possible in 60 seconds.
3, 2, 1, go!
Of course, the official representative of the Guinness Book of World Records was present at this daring attempt. The previous record was 99.06 centimeters. You might argue that the chef could have simply stretched the dough with his hands in different directions to achieve the desired length, but the requirements for a traditional pasta sheet in the world of haute cuisine are very strict. An ordinary thin piece of dough can't qualify for this proud title. Did Gordon manage to conquer a new culinary peak? As if anyone doubted him, Gordon Ramsay's new world record was 144.78 centimeters. Ever wondered what the world's largest samosa would look like? Neither have I, but it has already been cooked. It took 44 kilograms of flour, a bag of spices, 100 kilograms of potatoes, 25 kilograms of onions, and 15 kilograms of beans to be cooked. Certainly, the amount of boiling oil required for such samosa was considerable, 400 liters. The samosa had to be loaded into the pot with the help of a special winch. In the world of haute cuisine, there are many dainties, a tiny piece of which will cost you a fortune. What is the cost of the most elite ingredients if you combine them in one dish? You're about to find out, because next up is the story about a record-breaking expensive sandwich. The chef at New York's famous Michelin restaurant cooks it, and you need to order this simple yet complex dish at least 48 hours in advance. What exactly is the sandwich? Basically, it's a cheese sandwich, though it's not that simple. The bread for your sandwich will be flown in from France, toasted in Dom Perignon champagne, and garnished with 24-karat gold flakes. The cheese, of course, will be brought from Italy, as there are only a few farms in the south of the country that produce it, because the breed of needed cows is extremely rare. But the process of cooking the most expensive sandwich in the world is fairly simple. It's fried on a grill press, just 3 or 4 minutes. The exclusive sandwich is paired with tomato soup with South African lobster. The price of this unique dish is $214. Not that expensive really, but not for a sandwich, which usually costs a dozen times less. The world's largest pizza. It's interesting to note that the largest pizza ever baked by chefs was unveiled to the world in South Africa in 1990. This monster of gastronomy had a diameter of 56.6 meters, and it took 4,500 kilograms of dough, 1,800 kilograms of cheese, and 900 kilograms of sauce to be cooked. The Guinness Book of Records even named this gigantic pizza among the 10 most astounding achievements in the world. But everyone knows that pizza's an Italian dish. Italian chefs had to set a new record and did in 2010. In Pesaro, they baked the largest pizza in the world, the diameter of which was 40 meters, and the total square was 1,261 square meters. The new record was recognized by Guinness Book of Records. Such a pizza took more than 8 tons of flour and almost 9 tons of mozzarella cheese to be cooked. The chefs worked for about 48 hours in a row to create the giant dish. Okay, I've already mentioned Gordon Ramsay.
You, fuck off out of
But who could be cooler than him and his mentor, Joe Robuchon? He was appointed chef at the prestigious Parisian Hotel back in 1974. Robuchon did not recognize the excesses of using many ingredients. If you believe his words, he never risked using more than 3 flavors in one dish and always believed that the simpler the food, the tastier and more popular it is. His signature mashed potatoes is famous around the world. This is a true work of art rather than just a side dish. Skeptics love to say that the chef's secret is the incredible amount of butter. Robuchon himself never hid that was true. He was adding 250 grams of butter to every kilo of potatoes and called repeated rubbing through the finest sieve the secret of his texture. Thanks to his restaurants, Robuchon has collected a total of 32 Michelin stars. No other chef in the world has managed to break that record. That's all, guys. Would you like to visit a Michelin-starred restaurant? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you liked the episode, subscribe to the channel, press the like button, and don't forget to stay notified of upcoming videos.